I have put in an 80 needle, and I've used thread that matches the inside piece. Also, I'm using a darning foot or a free motion foot, and I'm going to put my feed dogs down. I find this is the easiest way to go all around these little dipsy doodle edges. Another good thing to do if you have it is put your needle position down. So every time you stop, the needle is down. Okay, I'm just going to slowly, using a regular stitch, go around the outside edge of this center part of the leaf. The reason I like to do that is because, I'm going to stop and pull this thread out of the way here, is because even though we have really good fusibles, over time they tend to sometimes lift up a little bit. So sometimes you just want to stop and reposition, so it's easier to do it this way. I've sewn backwards quite a bit, so I forget to turn it around. Okay, we're almost there. Let's do a couple stationary stitches. Lift your needle out, clip your threads, and that's the way it looks. Just stitched really close around the outside edges. Okay, I've changed thread, and I've also changed my foot to an open-toed embroidery foot. The needle position is down, and the feed dogs are back up. So I'm going to start stitching on one of my pink lines right here. And I'm going to go from the edge up to the center, pivot, and stitch back down to the edge. The beautiful thing about this is when you're stitching over the outside edge, you're going to cover up those end stitches. It goes a little bit slow because it goes back and forth 3 or 4 times, but it makes a nice stem stitch. Follow my pink dotted lines up to the center line, stop, needle down, pivot, and turn. Okay, when you get to the end, I like to clip my stitches as close as I can, and also put just a drop of fray check on it. Fray check keeps the stitches from coming loose, kind of secures them a little bit, and it's clear so it doesn't show. Okay, we finished the vein stitching on the leaves. Now we're ready to do the outside edge of the leaf. And notice the stem still has not been attached. So I'm going to start up at the top and work my way all the way around to the tip and back around. And I've chosen a really pretty outline stitch. Okay. Still have a needle down position and still have the open-toed embroidery foot on. There's several different stitches that you can use for the outside edging, so just choose the one you like the best on your machine and do a little practice stitching and go for it. Like I said, we'll be covering up all the edges, the end of the stitching lines for the veins, so That'll make a nice, neat finished edge. It'll help when I get to the point to have the needle down position so that I can make a nice clean pivot. And sometimes I like to shorten up the stitch just a little bit since we're coming to a pretty fine point. So if I make it less wide as I go into the point, it makes for a cleaner point. Now I have to go slow. And now I want to move my stitch width back to the regular width for the stitch. The same stitch on the stem. Don't have to worry about back stitching or anything because the stem's going to cover it up. So clip my stitches, and then I'm going to go to the ironing board and fuse on the stem. Okay, I've fused the stem on. As you can see, it comes a little bit into the leaf, and then it actually extends off the edge, so you just cut that part off. Everybody puts their leaf on a little bit different, so we've given a little extra on the stem. Start again up here at the top. Same stitch. Go down one side of the stem, around the bottom edge, and back up the other side. Again, I'm going to shorten my stitch width a little bit as I get a little closer to the tip of the stem. Now that I'm coming back up, I'm going to go ahead and widen my stitch again. We are done with our B4 block. Okay, just to reinforce that, we're going to fray check the little ends of these stitches. Embroidery stitches tend to come out a little easier than regular stitching, so that's just a little bit of extra insurance for you. All that's left now is to square it up to an 8.5 by 10.5 inch block.